What's going on? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Room, where having a healthy mind is priority, man. Last year, in the year 2020, it was said that every single day a new business was started by a woman. 40% of U.S. businesses are women-owned. Women started over 1,800 new net businesses every day last year. 64% of that were of black and brown women. I want to repeat that again. Over 1,800 new net businesses were started every single day last year of 2020. 64% of that were black and or brown owned businesses by women. This episode is titled, I Am Not a Woman in Business. I am a businesswoman for a reason. I wanted to take the time to shine a light on the many different business women that grace this planet Earth, man. So without further ado, let's get to why we here. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
So real quick, before we get into it, just introduce yourself to the people, let them know where you from, what you do, things of that nature.
Yes, I am Queen Dimon, also known as Queen Diamond. Can better be known and found at Diamond to Queen. So definitely Queen is out there to the fullest. But I am the CEO of a parent company by the name of Royals Industry. We pretty much, as a parent company, over 7 different subsidiaries. The subsidiaries are in multiple different types of industries, anywhere from events, promotion, marketing, to media relations in terms of videography, photography. Also been able to have the consignment rental boutique. You have some items that is consignment based, but of course there's a rental boutique, and I can talk about that a little bit later. Definitely been also fortunate to have a counseling career that goes in conjunction with also a writing services. So the writing services, bring everything about like resume writing and even report writing of all types of sorts in business alignment. And then the most recent one that I really wanted to tab into is the nail care. Now, the nail care line is actually in the phase of beginning phase. So I have a lot of tutorial products that I'm really excited to want to get out there and start, marketing, promoting, and getting people to get to see what I'm trying to provide out there. But, of course, with COVID and things, you just want to kind of be a little bit mindful in certain type of business areas. But that's to sum up in terms of, some of the business that Rural Industries is the parent company to. And it's been, I would say, over a 10-year, no, maybe 17-year, I would say, yes, time span. Rural Industries, the parent company, actually started roughly in the year 1999. It was something that, I was like, not to put my age out there or nothing, but, I was in high school and I was always an active student. I was always in the mix of stuff in terms of sports and clubs and events, and it was a matter of now I'm going to be graduating soon, and I want to pursue something. Entrepreneurship was always in my blood, I would say. But it was one of them things where coming back to being a woman, it wasn't so much thought of. It was like most of the businesses in my family was all run by like my grandfathers, brothers, uncles. It was always men based. The women was the women, but I always had that entrepreneurship. So that's how Rural Indies came abreast. Now, the first, I would say, business out of was the marketing business. When you go off to college, they have nothing but, parties and promotions and all types of events. So it was a matter of getting into the know and trying to be part of that, dealing with the imaging, the creativity. But there was always to the passion and experience I had from the younger years of doing photography and videography. So then that kind of came into play. So then that's how M. Dot Marketings, which already speaks for itself. And then that's when Diamond Images, which is basically the mediography, videography standpoint. I really love both of them concepts because I am a woman who is family oriented. And at the time, I had nieces and nephews that was extremely young. And I could see this as even more of an opportunity for them. So it kind of gave them where, my female my niece, she basically was more towards I would say the diamond images, where she really enjoyed the taking pictures and videography. And then my nephew and also another male little cousin of mine, which they're in the same age, they was more towards the media in terms of the marketing. So it allowed them to kind of come in terms of gaining experience. They was in a high school base area, middle school base area. So, they was actually able to kind of utilize that and build, you might well say, a nice little demographic that wasn't just based on my area demographic. And then as years just went on, it just seemed like, my mind just continued, kept flourishing. I thought of new ideas. The consignment rental boutique definitely came into play. And they came into play because we all love fashion, but sometimes you get tired of the fashion stuff. And I mean, I'd rather, make some coins off of something.
Mm.
Otherwise, it was going to go to Salvation Army anyway for free. So it was a matter of trying to also have that started. And I wanted to start that where it wasn't just necessarily centralized on just my stuff, but, other people's stuff, helping them clean out their closet, so to speak. And then the rental boutique come into play because I have a lot of nice things. Some things, like a lot of my name brand things, I'm not trying to give that away, but it is sitting in the closet. Some of the stuff actually getting dust. So then the rental boutique came into play because I mean, if you don't want to really spend out money to get yourself a Gucci or a Louis or even traveling luggage, if you want to still have it but not necessarily spend the money, it could be rented. No different than renting a Maserati, you know. So that's how those businesses came in. And of course, the career counseling and resume is just me utilizing my actual education behind the scenes that really came into play in terms of having a background in counseling and knowing what it takes in terms of preparing individuals for them to be a dominant candidate. So it's like I've always had these different type of skills, and my businesses was just that, building different types of services, and getting to the last one, the product that individuals can actually enjoy. It don't necessarily have to be just me getting to benefit from my services. Other individuals can benefit from the services, and it has been successful. It feels good, especially when you work on someone to prepare them for a career, help groom them from the mock career counseling. That's what they do. We provide the mock. We basically get you in preparation so that you can go out there. And if you want to be part of a Fortune 500 company, you would know the mannerism to conduct yourself to be able to be part of the Fortune 500 company, because it's all about presentation, especially during an interview. And then when it came to the royalty resumes is exactly it. It was helping with writing resumes. And my skill level can continue. It goes from just necessarily the resume, but being a writing service, period. Providing whether it's reports. I had actually one client reach out to me to help and assist them with one of their dissertations. So it provides different types of, skills and services that I accumulate. And then there's people who I know who has also these skills, and they too can be able to utilize them and be able to have, some coins. I mean, of course, everybody would love to have businesses that we can be able to be multimillionaires. But in the start front of it, you always going to have a little small start at times, and you build yourself gradually up. And individuals that can be able to take this time and be a professional underneath of any one of those subsidiaries, they're able to make themselves, some extra coins too. So it's just kind of like being able to, not just make coins for me, but make coins also for people around me, because we all have bills and we all enjoy to live, whether it's to travel, whether it's to have a flashy car, but it all costs coins. And just being able to have services that can be able to provide to other individuals so that you don't have to feel like you're alone. This individual is not someone who actually can type. They went through school. They did not enjoy the having to sit down and type everything, and that's a service we have. So why not help you out? Now doctor, you know, and it was all within the fact of providing those services. And then the last one, which is the Nair Care product line, is it came more essential because of COVID. Just because of the fact of everyone was home, we was isolated. It was so much bad publicity talking about China and coming across. So when you think of nail shops, you like, I'm not getting my nails done right now. And it was to the point where my nails actually grew so long, because these are mine. They grew so long, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I don't want to lose my nails. I don't mind taking care of them, because you go there for them to give you that, pamper, but you can do some of this stuff yourself. So then I thought about what would be pretty dope, but to have like a actual specific type of kit geared towards home care, where certain stuff you can be able to do at home. There's drills. There's even for women who sometimes they want to get the dip or they want to get the gel. There's actual products that you can use just like in a salon to put the things, let them soak, and still be able to do what you need to do at home. And even within it, it allowed to bring on other freelance nail artists. So, while they're freelancing, they're using, products also being provided that can actually show you how to use them at home. And then boom, you're able to be able to have your own care, because this is COVID. This is probably in most of our generation, I would say, the first pandemic that we have actually experienced, but it's not necessarily the last, you see. And looking forward into a longevity mode, you got to think about certain type of things you want to be prepared for if it was to come. And something simple as the nail care, I said that would be pretty dope. So yes, so that has been the last one. I'm really excited about it because I have some specific colors that I'm going to be gearing it towards specific groups and whatnot that would really find it dope. But it's just a matter of
I hope you listening, ladies.
yes. It's gonna be pretty dope. They're gonna be like, oh, I like that. But it's just a matter of I want to put, anything out there that's right. And one thing I will say is all my other businesses have been mostly dealing with services. This will be my first official product. And it's like you want to make sure that when you putting something out there is something where the nails are fine, they're going to be healthy. You're not going to have to worry about your finger falling off. You want to make sure. Exactly. So being that, COVID is going on, it also slows down on the productivity of having things being exported to you. So when you also have that into play, it's like, the services, I'm glad I do have them as other businesses, because everyone's sitting at home, everyone sometimes is looking for new jobs. Certain services are really, still being able to be thriving, versus, product right now. I'm like, I still have to deal on the back end of the manufacturing. And that right there is that bulk manufacturing have to come into play. So, being in business is something that, when I look back at myself some years ago, and I was just thinking of entrepreneurship, it was through the years, it was just like an idea will come. And then I realized I got the skill. Why not, utilize it into available service that individuals can be able to benefit from too. And everyone can be, win-win. So yeah, that's my background in terms of, me into the business world as being a woman, which do have its challenges.
Yeah,
Um,
that's I'm sorry, before we continue, I want to highlight something super important that
sure,
I was hearing throughout everything you were saying. And
sure.
it's something that you rarely get to, see nowadays. Throughout all it throughout every service you have, it's catered towards helping.
That's
And
right.
that's something that I paid attention to, and that's very important, because not one time did you speak about a business that you created for any self gain, like, I wanted to do this for me, or not one time I haven't even heard you speak about the monetary gain. The whole time has been helping people write different forms of papers, providing things for opportunities for your family and your niece and your nephew. That's something
Hmm.
that it's a little difficult, but I'm actually trying to do that now. So,
Hmm. And it can be difficult. It
so
can be.
the fact that you're doing that, I just want to one question, and then we can continue. I just want to know
Sure.
where did that come from? Just that whether it was a want, but where did that come from? Just wanting to help people and not just be all about you and making sure everyone else around you also benefits from whatever it is that you're doing.
Well, I would say it came from a combination of things. One, of course, at home with my mother. She always taught me that, if you are in a community and you have certain type of skills to offer, the only way you can make your community be better is if you share them. And it's kind of like, a little story she used to always tell me about, when you have like a little boy, you can send your child away to private school and they can, be around. So what? But if they still have to come back home to their own community and the kids around them are still not having the same experience or exposure, it still is going to be always a misbalance. And it's always good to not just make it where yours is going away and having an experience to go to maybe a football game or basketball game, but bring the friends along too, so that everyone around will also have the experience and exposure. And then, I mean, honestly, when I went away to college, and my area that I'm in, it's like most people in my area really look at it like, to be successful is having large stacks of bands that comes instantaneously, if you understand my drift.
Yeah.
um some of them feel as though, and then too, in the area in which I am, agriculture is hard. So most of your job market is always going to be individuals that's in a manual labor setting, whether it's working at a chicken factory or whether it's working at, a pickle factory, and I went away to college. So it was me leaving my community to go away and for better myself. But I acquired so many skills along the way where it's like, I got these skills. It's not just, me worrying about having a traditional 9 to 5 and knowing that, yeah, I'm accumulating a 401k with them and getting the benefits, but it's a matter of two, I got these skills that can be utilized for other individuals to be able to have service. Because there's some things I know that you are in the angle of trying to do. And I'm like, wait a minute, let me help you out. Now, of course, there's that whole concept. There's no such thing as free lunch. So, that's where you start coming into the whole irony of not just being a service just to give, but you do want to also try to establish some monetary contractual agreement. And that's only for reputational work purposes. Of course, like I said, getting coins is great, but just being able to be out there and helping assist other individuals so that they too can be great. I mean, when I die and I leave from here, one thing I always say is I want to RIP, rest in peace. I don't want to have no types of, accolades all on my shoulder, but it's being from me just thinking about myself. I think most accolades is assisting other individuals because right now and day, it's not about just yourself, it's about the village. And if the community is not basically uplifting and coming together so we can form something of our own, it's very extremely hard to be able to think that you're going to go out there and do it by yourself. You got to go with a force. It's one of them things where when you think about like the riot that took place in the Capitol, they was an organization, you know, that basically organized themselves. Now, what they did was off the chain, but it was like-minded people who was coming together to make us do their purpose. No different than our Black Lives Matter, but Black Lives Matter is more on a movement, on a whole different game. So we ain't gonna go into that. But but just to show in terms of people in general, they realize it's a movement. Black Lives Matter knew that they couldn't just be one individual or the two women that were involved in. They had to be a group of people walking together. So that is more so what it's about. Just trying to make sure that my community around me and wherever I'm at, friends, family, whomever want to bill for the services that I also have to provide, we can just be able to get it together. Because my service is for them helping them get coins too. So it's like you can't lose, So yeah, most definitely.
That right there. or at least, in my personal opinion, I feel like that's one of the greatest qualities any business woman or man can acquire, is to actually do something that's more on the line of selfless versus selfish. Now, don't get me wrong. I know in any business, in order to keep it running, you do got to make sure it does what it's supposed to, so those, monetary gain can be there. So, my last question I want to ask you is, well, it's a two-part question. Number one, how important is it to just the whole mental strength behind it, whether that's dealing with like we spoke, before we started this, she had got a phone call and she was talking about just how you're just always on call. When you're a business owner, you just, even if it's not, likely hours, you might still get a call. So just dealing with that, and then also, just dealing with the usual of, this is a man's world. So, like I stated earlier in the beginning of the show, you can do a job better than me. You could take over this, do it more amazing than me, do it way better than me, but it might still be difficult for you to get either the same pay or more. So, how was that, and how did you feel when you finally did just, get over those humps and accomplish everything you set out for yourself?
Well, get back to the mental state, I would say that it can have its ups and downs. Of course, when you start in the businesses, it's a matter of people, one, believing that you're for real, two, them understanding that you're not just out here to scam them, you really want to provide them with good services, and three, whether or not people going to support you. Sometimes you can have individuals that just know you and they need your services. Some behind the scenes, they calling you up, asking little subliminal, questions, but will not actually want to provide the monetary, as you state, to you because they don't want to necessarily see you succeed. Well, I look at it like, whatever destiny is destined to be. And one thing I would try, and I constantly always did, was build relations with individuals that are secure. Sometimes when you are in a market that really kind of can misconstrue the understanding of a woman in a business versus a man in a business, it gets to be a little bit frustrating. And that means where you have some men, I mean, can come out there and tell a person, $100 an hour for a service, and they will have their money. But then for a woman, you could come and tell them $100 for the same service, and they're looking at you like, "Oh, really? Well, how about I take you out for dinner? Okay, you can take me out, but I still need my $100 for the service. Like, don't try to, throw one over top of me where you need these services, but now you're trying to use my gender as an opportunity for you to get over. No. So it do has its pros and cons when it comes to, the market of having to be in a man's world and having to establish yourself that, I mean, I ain't taking no shit, straight up, you know. And you don't want to be labeled as the bitch either, but it's like you have to have that type of attitude to be able. And honestly, in each individual service, there's a different attitude, and the marketing and promotion, because you're dealing with a different type of demographic of clientele, I'm gonna be a little bit more like, where my money at? Look, you want this created, but when you're dealing with someone who needs counseling with a career and assistance with writing, I'm not going to be as, you be more empathetic and passionate.
Mhm.
So those things I would say provides those pros in terms of what women can definitely provide, that, sometimes you see most women in those actual industries versus another type, versus a man being in those industries. Not to say they're not men that are in, career counseling, but there are, pretty much slim to few. Not to say they're not women in marketing, because there are, and there's a lot of them. So it's kind of like just making sure that when you're in the game, it's about, regardless of whatever demographic you in, they still respect you. And ultimately, it can be times you get some of them clientels that they want to test you. But I think regardless if you was a woman or a man, they would still try to test you just to see how far they can go, because they just that type of person themselves.
Yeah.
Um, You can have someone, maybe, selling books, and you still going to have that person trying to see if they can get away with that book for $5 instead of paying the full 10. It's just those people out there. But for the most part, I will say that in a lot of cases, you'll find at times, some men can be more supporting than they are actually women, you know and then you can find at times in some cases the opposite. So it's just a matter of the demographic you're dealing with, the services, really, because I've been seeing different types of I would say experiences, in regards to whether it's someone who want to have photography, or some video captures or whatnot of the wedding, versus someone who pretty much want to actually buy some Jordans. It's like you're just going to have different individuals who going to approach you differently. But I will say, when it comes to the monetary gain, that to me is when helping others really come back into play, because it's not just me doing all of it. Like, I have the skills and the services, so I'm the one who would sign off on the official note. But there's other people on the crew who do have the services, and they, would love the opportunity to see, them too be able to receive monetary gain. So, it comes a matter of networking, which also has been a great tool. And it also comes with a matter of making sure that you just give good work and keep it 100. And I will say that when it comes to people who get bad work, they're going to put it out there. They're going to let it be known. So, as long as you're doing good work, I think even as being a woman or a man, you're still going to be able to succeed in any type of field you go into.
Out to you. So that's why I wanted to highlight just the whole thing of you helping, because nowadays with this generation, and going back to the entertainment industry and what we just see splattered across every social media, no matter which way you are, on the side of it, we still don't get it highlighted as far as women are actually successful doing these different whether it's self-owned, something that you created at home, or whether it's something that you've been brewing and working on since 1999. It's still an amazing thing to just watch you have an idea, create the idea, work on the idea, and then have it blossom. So
Yep.
not only did I want to give you your flowers while you are here and tell you that that's amazing within itself, that is fire, dope, whatever lingo y'all want to use on it, throw that on it, because that's what this is. It's
Thank
amazing.
you.
The
Thank
last,
you.
no problem at all. The last question I want to ask you is, today, today in the year 2021, how do you
Mm.
feel? I know it's still, a daily struggle. You might have your good days, bad days, but just overall, how do you feel to know that you don't have to punch in a clock with anyone? You get to make your decisions and you're doing everything the way you want to do it. Like, just how does that feel?
Honestly, it feels good. It feels good just to be at home. It feels good, to be able to wake up and start your day how you want to start your day. And I mean, just basically, call your own trip. I mean, of course, to be able to have, don't get me wrong, to be able to have, a clock in, I mean, it's not bad either, because that too is additional. One thing that I always say, even in terms of being a business owner, it's always good to get extra coins from anywhere. Having businesses, they're not all going to probably jump off right at the beginning of the month, but you still need to have some source of income to come in. So, I would not say that, not to have no type of, because one thing I would say that a business definitely do provide you in terms of your own is your own. You can design how you want, you can market how you want, you can do whatever you want. But the good thing, I mean, also, if you need to be clocking in, is they too can also provide you with additional 401k. I don't know about you, but you can't get too many coins going towards your social security and your pension, So, and with that, that is one thing that, in terms of your own business, is where you want to blossom too. So, to be able to, mandate and just do everything on your own is still a blessing in itself, because you get to drive the boat. You get to decide on how you want things to be projected amongst the entire world. It don't necessarily have to be just in a local town. You can be internationally, nationally, and if it's out of this world, so be it, known. But it's just that when it is your business, you can do what you want. One thing I will say is that some people who tend to have, let's say, like their own shop, for example, and their own, when you walk up in there, I mean, it could be maybe 12 o'clock in the afternoon and it's not open. Well, that's their business. They can do that. But if you were to go to McDonald's, and don't get me wrong, because actually I have went to a Popeyes, and you pull up, they telling you it's 8 o'clock. Oh, we're closed. Wait a minute. You as a client is looking at it like, I don't expect them to be closed. But when it's someone who has their own business, I mean, you really can do whatever you want to do. And that is the, I would say, most greatest pleasure in being a business owner, is just being able to do what you want to do because it's your own business. And not having to answer to anyone. Like I said, with all of my businesses, I actually am the main person. There's no one else, in terms of, this startup or this investor. No. And the reason why I did it like that, because I did not want to owe anyone for anything. I wanted to do this for myself, because if it was a failure and is a failure, that's me. Because sometimes when you get out here with multiple people part of a business, I mean, if it's not successful, that can cause a lot of hard blood amongst the two. And I never want that. I mean, if you want to come and you got service, and you can be able to do that align with one of the businesses I have, then boom, you can come in, be part of our contract and be part of our team, and then we can go from there. But if you are someone who pretty much want to be of that ownership, it's kind of like, with the businesses I've been acquiring, I wanted to make sure that these were mine. There was no co-owner. So I definitely understand you when you mentioned earlier in terms of, women owning 100% of their businesses. And I think a lot of them do that is for that particular, stamp. They want to know this is something that I've done. We have a lot of pressure on us. We have the pressure of being a woman, which is already, go with not only looking nice, but having to maintain home life nice, having to maintain, other upkeep nice, making sure that everything takes place. And if you are someone who's also, more intact with having to be part of certain members of your family, whether you caregive for this family member or whether you babysit that family member, your position is always definite. I know that, not to downplay on men, because yes, there are men out here who do as well, but there are far more women who usually have to live by that whole motto, papa's maybes but mama's baby. I mean, papa might come and go, but mama has to be there and do. And when you have women who are balancing the whole life of business, family, and just keeping everything abreast, it will take tolls on your mental state. And that is why it's always good to have those businesses that are some things that you also enjoy doing, because you won't be looking at them like it's a job. That's why I say, if you're clocking in, that's nothing wrong with it. Let that be a job, but it's a job that fits the purpose. Let it serve the purpose. But when you got your own businesses, you get to run them on your own hours. You might be even working on the actual job of your 9 to 5 and still be doing the work for your own business for free printing. You never know. It could work out that way. But it's one of them things where when it is your own, you know, you definitely have a lot to put into it. And that is where the mental will come into play, because it's ongoing. Reflecting back earlier to the conversation where you're talking about me getting a phone call. Exactly. I was sitting there ready for you to come. The phone call come in, and it was a client who I needed to actually attend to. But it's one of the things where it's not 9 to 5. This person called me way after 5, but it's still in the whole mannerism of business. You have to always be on point. And of course, if you out here providing services to people, you definitely have to be on point for them as well, whenever that could possibly is. Now, getting into the product line, like I said, I'm very excited about that. Would be something new for me. So maybe 2 to 3 years from now, and kind of can do a follow up to see how that goes. Because like I said, I've always been able to provide services. The services are for people who need them. Products are usually coming to a whole type of sale into playing, because you're going to have people who going to get it because they need it, but then of course you want to encourage other individuals that they should get it regardless if they don't need it. So you really try to get a little bit harder on the sales pitch, I would say. But it is still an opportunity that I wanted to do, and just to kind of see certain stuff come to breast, it's a wonderful blessing. And I can't really say nothing more other than that, I'm happy to see this many years later that things are really coming as I want them to be. And if someone don't support it, so be it. That's not gonna stop me from eating my crab legs and my shrimp salad, you know. But and if they do, all they're going to get is wonderful services and something that could be able to help them, down the road. And that's just, what it's about.
It's definitely amazing, man. That's all I can say, man. It's amazing, especially this generation, this world, and everything that's going on, man. It's so, once again, amazing to see our black queens and kings actually prosper in the things that they set out to do for themselves. One of the best satisfying things you can ever experience is in life is doing something that brings you true joy. Or at least that's what I believe. So being able to create something that you stand on, that you believe in, and you can actually watch help those around you, if not, perfect strangers. If you don't want to feeling like that, then I don't really have no extra words for you. That right there should solidify genuine happiness. Just watching something that started here, and you can watch it flourish. And that's exactly what she's
That's
showing.
right.
One of the things that she repeated constantly was she wanted those around her to get coins. Not just her, not just you for yourself. She brought her niece in to actually not just work for her, but to learn and be a part of something that can eventually be a generational thing, a family business, if you will, to where they can always have something that they know is there as long as they're willing to do the proper work. You don't hear a lot of people like that, man. I want to thank you first and foremost for stepping
Yes.
into the room and talking with me. Give everybody your social media and everything, because I'm gonna make sure I put everything down below. That means the website to her business, the different services she have. I want you guys to click on that. I'm gonna have everything down below.
Yes, most certainly. So, of course, on social media, you can find me Twitter or Instagram, Diamond2Queen, far as my private one. But then, of course, you can definitely, when you go to my actual page, you can click on the link to go to various of the other services that's provided. Of course, there's M.Marketings, which is the marketing promo, you might want to say business. Then you also have Diamond Images, which you can also find me on YouTube, the Diamond Images channel, providing all different types of highlights and different types of skits and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. And there will be more individuals to
Down
come that
below.
you can also catch too. There will also be, of course, there's a D2Q store, which is the consignments rental boutique. And then you can always check out my personal Queen's Closet, which has a little bit more high end brand stuff, but it's also there too. You come on, keep on going down to CC Counseling, which is known for the career counseling. There's Royalty Resumes, known as Royalty Resumes. You can find that too. And also Royalty Things, which is a royal merchandise business. So, if you got some of your kings and queens and y'all want to have some little matching kings and queens things, that's where you will find them on Royalty Things. Okay. And last but not least, it would be the nail care, which is by Miracle Josette Nail Care product line that will be coming in the near future. That will provide all types of home care essentials to make sure your nails stay lovely. So yes, please feel free. Come to Diamond to Queen. And once you come there, you click on the link of Royal Industry Inc. and it'll take you to all of the different types of businesses you would like to see.
Dope, 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 man. Just like always, I appreciate you guys for stepping into the room. I am Desmond Bonet. This is where having a healthy mind is priority, man. Don't forget the new time is 8 p.m. every Sunday, 8 p.m. You guys can tune in for another exclusive episode, another exclusive interview. And don't forget, man, S2 30th edition is still available. iTunes, Tidal, Spotify, wherever your music is at, it's still there. Appreciate you guys.